There are 5 very popular day trips you can go on from Athens. I've already covered 4 out of the 5, namely the monasteries in Meteora, the sanctuary of Apollo in Delphi, the temple of Poseidon in Sunio, and the islands of Agistri and Aegina. And so in today's video, I'm going to cover the 5th and final day trip you can go on from Athens, which is the one going to the ancient town of Mycenae, the amazingly well-preserved amphitheater of Epidaurus, and the medieval town of Nafplio. Alright, so the tour starts at 8 a.m. You're going to get picked up by a large and comfortable coach bus. The first stop is going to be Mycenae, but before getting there, there's going to be a short break at the very impressive Corinth Canal, built in the late 1800s. The bridge on which you'll be standing is 90 meters above the canal, nearly 300 feet, which makes the views so spectacular. After that, you hop back on the bus and you start heading to Mycenae. Now, Mycenae is an ancient Greek city that thrived between 1600 BC and 1100 BC. That's a long time ago. It's mostly famous for its massive stone walls, grand palaces, and golden treasures. And it played a big role in Greek myths, like the story of King Agamemnon, for instance, who led the Greeks into the Trojan War. King Agamemnon was king of Mycenae. In case you saw the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, you know what I'm talking about. The Mycenaeans were incredibly skilled in all sorts of areas, considering this was before 1000 BC, which allowed their influence to spread far across Greece. Their civilization eventually collapsed around 1100 BC, we're not sure, apparently because of a massive uprising coming from the inside, so like French Revolution style, but 3,000 years before the French Revolution, leading to what's called the Dark Age of Greece, where lots of know-how was lost, including how to write. So it was a pretty severe dip. However, when the Greeks bounced back 500 years later, building the Acropolis and all of that, these new Greeks looked back to the Mycenaeans as an inspiring ancient culture, and so the Mycenaeans pretty much laid the foundations for what the classical Greeks would go on to achieve. The Iliad and the Odyssey, the 2 super famous books written by Homer, or set during that Mycenaean period. So it's clear that the classical Greeks really admired this Mycenaean civilization. The top highlight of the site is definitely the tomb of Agamemnon. It's this huge beehive-shaped tomb where Mycenaeans used to bury their kings, a bit like the pyramids in Egypt. And the other big highlight is the Lion Gate, which was the entrance of the city, built with these huge rocks, so huge that 500 years later, Greeks would say that only cyclopses, so giants, could have been able to build such walls, which gave birth to the name Cyclopean walls, which ironically we still use these days in archaeology. And then you'll also visit the Museum of Mycenae, where all the artifacts that were found during the excavations are exhibited. The highlight for me are these fragments of pottery where you can see their handwriting. Now, the reason I love it so much is that this alphabet you're seeing here is called Linear B, and it was entirely lost during the Dark Ages. So it has nothing to do with the current Greek alphabet, which was adopted in 600, 700 BC. So yeah, seeing this completely different alphabet on a 3,000-year-old piece of ceramic, wow, that definitely hit the spot for me. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm a tour guide in Athens. So if you want me to tell you many more stories like this one, here's my Instagram page. All right, after that, you hop back on the bus. And by the way, I recommend you sit on the right-hand side of the bus. That's where most of the good views will be at. There's going to be a half-an-hour stop at this little food shop where you'll get to taste a few Greek delicacies, and all of this is included in the price. And it's also a shop, so if you want to grab some food, souvenirs, you can do that there as well. The next stop will be the city of Nafplio. Now, Nafplio is without a doubt one of the most beautiful Greek cities. It was built in the 1400s by the Venetians. The highlights or the main square where the Venetian architecture is very obvious. Walking by the water and having a look at the Burzi fortress, which the Venetians, built in the late 1400s to protect themselves from the Ottoman Empire that was trying to conquer their city. And another highlight is the Palamili fortress, located all the way at the top of this hill. Now, of course, you won't have enough time to walk all the way up there, but still, it's a very nice one to look at from below. Now, the tour also offers the option to book a lunch at Nafplio, and I do not recommend that option. Not that the food is bad, but you only have 1 hour and 15 minutes in the city, and if you sit down at a restaurant, whether it's part of the tour or not, you're gonna spend pretty much all your time at that restaurant instead of walking around and actually visiting the city. So instead of sitting down at a restaurant, I recommend you get a pita wrap at this place called Stavropoulos. They have delicious gyros, and that will leave you with much more time to actually walk around Nafplio. All right, the next stop of the tour will be the archaeological site of Epidaurus, famous for its gigantic and extremely well-preserved amphitheater. You'll first experience the amphitheater's really unique acoustics by clapping in your hands from the middle of the stage, and you'll see how the echo that comes back at you sounds super strange. Some people say it's like the sound of tearing a sheet of paper. To me, it sounds like a metallic sound. It's a really unique experience. You really have to do it. Don't think it's a gimmicky thing. Do it. And after some more historical facts from your guide, you'll have half an hour of free time to walk around the site on your own. Of course, the first thing everyone will want to do is to walk to the top of the amphitheater, and the view from up there is amazing. One of the coolest things you can see in Greece, in my opinion. Now, for some context, Epidaurus used to be the sanctuary of Asclepius, the god of medicine. So this place was pretty much like a huge open-air hospital where sick people would travel to with the hope that god Asclepius would bless them with his healing. It was the only one in all of Greece, so just imagine if you only have one hospital in the whole country, it's gonna get pretty packed and the whole thing is gonna be very chaotic. So that's what Epidaurus was. Now, apart from the amphitheater we just saw, the rest of the site didn't survive that well, so the whole actual hospital, but still, you'll be able to see how big of a place it used to be. And if you're wondering why the hell there's an amphitheater for theater plays in the middle of a hospital, well, that's one of the many super interesting stories your guide will tell you on that day. And after that, the bus will drive you back to Athens, and you'll get there around 7 p.m. Now, the great thing about this tour is how close everything is to one another. You'll rarely spend more than 1 hour on the bus before already reaching the next stop. Plus, this tour has a bit of everything. The history in Mycenae, science behind the Epidaurus Amphitheater, the beauty of Nafplio city, and then the super impressive Corinth Canal. So yeah, that's tons of interesting and very different things to experience in only one day. Now, where can you book this tour? Well, you can scan this QR code or click the link down below. And I recommend you choose the option with entry tickets to all the different sites, but without the lunch. And this will lead you to the Get Your Guide website, which is sponsoring today's video. Get Your Guide is where I always book my activities when I'm abroad. It's such a convenient place to compare all existing experiences and then pick the one you like best. Plus, for tours that include a hotel pickup like the one I showed in this video, they have this great feature where when booking, you can see where the different pickup options are located. Because, you know, in Greece, many streets are pedestrian. Whether you're in Athens, in Santorini, doesn't matter. A lot of it is pedestrian. And that means the bus cannot come to you directly. You will probably have to go somewhere nearby to get picked up. And with this map on Get Your Guide, it's immediately much clearer where you can actually be picked up. I had a few instances last year in Vietnam where I was about to book a tour, but then as I see the choices for pickup, I realize these are not convenient for me, and so I still had time to book another tour instead. So yeah, get your guide. I'm a huge fan. Thanks for the support. All right, if you want to know what are the 7 wines I recommend you try in Greece, you can watch this video. And if you want to know what souvenirs you should get from Greece, I made a whole video on that as well. And there you go. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.